not attempt to adjust your dial. Ba-da-bum-bum-bum. It's your boy Big Vern. This is App Stupid, the fastest growing sports and entertainment show on these YouTube streets. You're welcome. Holla at us. You know who it is. It's your boy Big Vern coming to you live on a wet Monday here in the Midwest. High today is going to be about 53 degrees. We're still trying to dry out from bad storms last night. So if you got to take your pets out, get them out. Also walk around your house, make sure you got no storm damage. Earlier segments, AB, Adrian Broner, the problem. He got a problem, all right. The FBI and rats in his circle. The FBI is looking into Adrian Broner taking $6.5 million in a dice game that he had with former NBA players and current NBA players, and he had loaded dice. I don't know what that's all about. However, good news, Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, he is making a return to the ring June the 25th. I'm excited to see King back to work. Also, we talked about Tevin Farmer and Zepeda. I felt like Tevin Farmer won that fight in the 12th round had they would have counted it as a knockdown when it clearly Zepeda fell from a punch. And hey, look, that's what happens on Golden Boy cards. So from the world of boxing, we pivot and we go talk about the NBA. Earth-shattering. Just here it is. The Grizzlies, they fire Taylor Jenkins. Now, the guy you're going to go ahead and see also in the graphic, he is the general manager of the Memphis Grizzlies, Mr. Zach Kleiman. And he says that firing Jenkins was his decision and his decision alone. We'll dive more into this when we come back from a quick 20 from a rap album. This is Big Vern. Drop the spot. Bum, ba, bum. It's your boy Big Vern pumping another rap album. Will Smith, based on a true story, in stores now. Get it where you legally consume music, whether it be Apple Music, Google Play, or Spotify. My personal favorites is You Looking For Me. That's crazy. Bulletproof with Jack Ross. Hard Times featuring Tanya Taylor. Beautiful Scars with Big Sean. Tantrum is probably the song of the year. I'm not gonna hold you. Tantrum is on a whole nother level. That's Will rapping. Oh my God. And work of art is so deep. Will Smith, based on a true story, in stores now. Shout out to Will Smith. I thought it was a dope project. I thought it was awesome. So we got to check that out. Getting back to this situation. Now, this is dumb and dangerous that you would fire a coach in the middle of a playoff push who actually has a chance to get to fourth in the Western Conference, because Ja's been missing half the year with injuries, and he's been having to be sidelined. So you haven't seen a Memphis Grizzly team really at full strength. Again, it's mainly injuries and those kind of things, and then you factor load management in. I don't see how that's Taylor's problem, and I'll be real with you. I think he's overachieved in a small market. I think he's really overachieved in a small market. They trailed the Lakers by a couple of games. And what made this dumb and dangerous was that he fired the coach before the LA game. That was dumb. LA and Memphis are battling it out to go ahead and get to the top of that Western Conference and get that fourth seed. The fact that you would fire the winningest head coach in the organization's history is beyond baffling. And I can't make this up. And I was just like, what does it take to keep a job these days? You know, and I can't figure this out in pro sports, because if you're winning, they'll fire you. But if you're losing, they'll fire you. It's the most confusing thing I've ever heard in my 48 years on God's green. It doesn't make any sense. I'm just still wondering, what are you looking for? Now, Kleiman, he wasn't done bumping his gums. He said, I came to the conclusion that this is it's in the best interest of the team, and urgency is a core principle of ours. What? I'm responsible for coaching. I'm responsible for the roster. I'm not trying to absolve myself of anything, but you are. You are. If you're saying you're responsible for the coaching, you're responsible for the roster, and then you throw in the sentence that I'm not trying to absolve myself of anything, or I'm not trying to be, one of reproach. I'm excited to see what this team can do the rest of the way. End quote. Really? This guy just fired a coach with a winning record and who's fighting for fourth in the Western Conference. Urgency? You now have an interim coach who's got to scramble on the fly. There's only 9 games left in the regular season. And I don't think that's enough time for LA to have a slide and you to catch up. And now they own the tiebreaker. That was just a dumb move. You're not the smartest guy in the room. You are not the smartest guy in the room. And it just had me thinking, is there something deeper than I'm just going to fire this guy? I'm going to fire this guy because there's personal things within the organization that hasn't gotten out. But we've got beef and I've got to go ahead and get rid of him because I don't feel like listening to him or I don't feel like hearing his mouth. Is that a possibility? Those are honest questions. You don't fire a winner. I can understand you want to go in a different direction, but firing people for having a successful track record, I have no clue what that's all about. Give me a quick 20 from a rap album we pushing this month. This is Big Vern. Drop the beat. It's your boy Big Vern coming to you live from the App Stupid Studios. New rap album out on the streets. Benny the Butch and 38 Special. Stabbed and Shot 2. In stores now. The deluxe edition. Get it where you legally consume music, whether it's Apple Music, Google Play, or Spotify. A couple of, the 1st of April is crazy. Throwaway Music 2, Who Really the King, Center Stage, Brick Specials, Jesus Arms, Bad Guy, and many more. Benny the Butch and 38 Special, Stabbed and Shot 2, in stores now. Yeah, shout out to Benny the Butcher, shout out to 38 Special, Stabbed and Shot 2. Like I said, it's out right now. Make sure you go get it. So when we left off on the other side of the content, I just kept thinking to myself, there has to be some sort of turmoil within the organization that hasn't gotten out because it goes for leaks and drips. You don't fire a winning basketball coach in arguably one of the toughest conferences out there. He's got fourth. And he's been dealing with it without his superstar being available majority of the season. It just doesn't make sense. It's stupid. But Kleiman, this empty suit, he joined the Grizzlies and became the head of basketball operations in 2019. Now they put in his description and his title that he's responsible for everything to do with the team and its performance. Okay, it's been decent. It hasn't been lights out, but you had to build it the right way. And I think Trajan Langdon had a lot to do with building Memphis, and now he's taking over Detroit. You can see a successful record everywhere that he goes. But Memphis as a whole, you're in a small market. So you have to go ahead and think differently and think outside the box. You're not in the LA. You're not in New York. You're not in the Chicago market. You've got to go ahead and think outside the box to keep people coming to FedEx. You have some good pieces out there, but I don't know if the pieces were underperforming. I just think that they're solid pieces. I just think that they're solid pieces, and there's nothing wrong with that. But now you got Memphis. They have to go ahead and adopt a new culture. They got to find a new identity. All of this within 9 games. They've got to do all of this within 9 games. They've got to catch and not only have the better record than the Lakers because of stupid over here. He fired the guy before the game, and now LA owns the tiebreaker. Shocker. So LA owns the tiebreaker between them and the Grizzlies. The only way that the Grizzlies now can get to the 4th seed is that LA has to have a losing streak of 3 games. So in this 9-game stretch, LA can't win more than 6 games. If they do, this thing is over. And then the Grizzlies, they will be looking to play a team. Well, when they have the 5th seed, they'll end up playing the 2nd seed. Or 4 and 5 might play each other in a 7-game series. Who knows? But at that time, it's too late. The damage has been done. It's too late. And then I think you put Tomas Isolo, you put him in a bad situation because he's the interim coach and he doesn't have that much time to work out his rotations, to work with the team, to build chemistry, to even put his brand and his stamp on there. Are we going with an all defensive unit? Or are we more defensive minded? Do I move Jaren Jackson Jr. over to the 4, bring in Zach Edey, let him play the 5? I mean, these are all legitimate questions. And so if you're the Memphis Grizzlies or you're in the fan base, you've got to see that this was completely stupid. Because Taylor Jenkins is going to resurface. And if he gets the job in Sacramento at the end of the year, they decide Doug Christie is better off an assistant than a head coach, so be it. Now he's in the Western Conference. And he's looking to jam you up. He's in the Western Conference. He's looking to jam you up. If he gets the job in Toronto, he doesn't have to worry about playing the Memphis Grizzlies. If he gets the job in Philly, because Nick Nurse he's got to be fired. There's no way Nick Nurse can justify keeping his job. It's one thing for management to make a boneheaded move and give Paul George an obscene amount of money for a guy who looks washed. But if you let Nick Nurse go and they pick up Taylor Jenkins, what then? Of all of those jobs and those vacancies that will be open, Sacramento is the most attractive job where he's got a young roster, they've got draft picks, and they've got talent. And he could actually be a force in Sacramento. And it would be all of Kleiman's fault. You put him in a bigger market, you give him marquee guys, and they really draft well as an organization. The Kings could be a very formidable foe in the Western Conference. Again, where do you go with this? If this blows up in Kleiman's face, and the Memphis Grizzlies, they get eliminated in the first round of the Western Conference playoffs, is his job on the line? Because he's saying in this whole interview that he had with Yahoo Sports that he himself, it was his decision to make the cut, to go ahead and get him out of his position. So if that's the case, and you say that you don't want to be held, you don't want nobody absolving you of your duties, then you should be fired. That's fair play. You thought that this guy was a problem. You replaced him with 9 games left. They were the 4th seed at the time you fired this dude. They're now the 5th seed. LA owns the tiebreaker. So if you don't beat LA out to get into that 4th seed and then you all get eliminated in the first round of the playoffs, you should be fired. Because you just said you don't want to be absolved of any kind of responsibilities. Well, now the buck stops with you. You don't have any kind of person to keep up as a shield. No, sir. You need to be fired. Fair is fair. I'm the mayor of fair. But let me know what you think. Again, if you are listening to this pod, get in the comments. Let us know that we get it right. What did we leave out? This is Big Vern. We talk back. We'll be back. Top of the hour. This is your